You have always trusted Kester D's Gospel Music Center for the best in gospel CDs and DVDs. He has also been known as the best person to duplicate your CDs and DVDs. Download your favorite gospel music on memory cards, flash drives, smartphones, and other devices. Well, now, Kester D has moved to a bigger and better location at Lot 206 Eastern half of Charlotte Street between Alexander and Camp Streets. For more information, call Kester D on 600-3991 today. Kester D's Gospel Music Center, the home of gospel music in Guyana.
Rhythm, it's all you. In tune with the rhythm of the island.
Hey, it's all you. The flavors of the islands like wind in the sun.
Rich in vitamins A and C.
Follow your island spirit.
It's the rhythm of the islands. We gonna upgrade your strength by grace.
What do you do with your old vehicle batteries, cell phones, and computers? Bring them to Dens Trading. They specialize in recycling your old batteries from your car or truck or from devices like your cell phone and out-of-service computer motherboards. Dens Trading will give you cash for the devices you want to throw away. So what are you waiting for? Come into Dens Trading at 39 Broad Street, Charlestown, Georgetown today or call them on 616-0412, 622-0455, 670-0268 or 225-9444.
Attitude. Give me attitude.
Next.
Action. Guys, where's the ice cream? Cut! In 4 delectable flavors, the new Super Premium Royal Ripple ice cream is smooth, unbelievably rich, and far more affordable than you think. Royal Ripple Super Premium from Sterling Products Limited.
Good evening, Guyana, to the rest of the world. Thank you very much for joining us here on CFTV Channel 2. This is You're Not a Mistake. I'm your friendly host, Kester Dean, and I'm definitely here to keep you company for just about 1 hour. I have 2 distinguished gentlemen with me here in the studio this evening that we will share. And you know this program, You Are Not a Mistake. And for those of you who feel that you're nobody, you were told that you will be among to nothing, and this morning I was talking about brand. You know you are a brand, right? Yeah, you're a brand name. You might be the brand name thief. It's a brand, but you can rebrand yourself. And so we're here not to bring the negative, but to bring the positive. So if people see you in a negative light, now with our story, you will know that there's another way. And there is a better way. From you see us, from what we tell you where we were to who we are, you would know there's definitely something beyond us. Because we in ourselves, we can't, help ourselves. But it takes divine intervention on, certain matters. There's some things we have no control over. But the God of all, He has everything that we need. And so we want you to tap into that source tonight. We don't want to be greedy, so we are sharing the source for our transformation with you, which is God. And so tonight, I'm very much honored and privileged to be sitting among such distinguished gentlemen within the body that God would have taken through from all of us came from nothing to something. So you're looking at a testimony, a living testimony, and I make no bones about sharing where God brought me from, hence the name, You Are Not a Mistake, because I know I'm not one. People could say whatever, but I know who I am. You walk in power, y'all know the Sanash, right? Right, so tonight we definitely going to go down the road tonight. I want you to pay very careful attention, and it's not about me merely tonight. I have 2 guests, and they will share with you. We hope we have enough time that we can open up the lines, that you could call in and you can share the goodness of God and what God has done. People need to know the goodness of God. People need to hear the goodness of what God is doing. We're hearing too much of negative, too much of accident on the road, too much of people dying, too much abuse. All these things we just hearing. We need to, pour out more of what God is doing rather than the negative. The negative is like it's outdoing, the positive. And we, as Christians, we can't allow that to happen. That's why the Bible said, by the word of our testimony and by the blood of the Lamb, which is Jesus, we overcome the devil every time. So use your testimony and share. You don't care who vex. You share your testimony. Let them hear about the goodness of God. Because God said, once that word goes forward, they keep coming back right. So once you speak positive things. Let it go out in the atmosphere. Let it go, let it go, let it go. You can catch the ears of the people because it's the Spirit that does it, not us. Sometimes we just want to play like, bye. Yeah, me testimonies are bad. Me testimony makes a change, No. Your testimony is an encouragement to trigger something for God to act, because God could only act according to your faith. Right? Yes, God could only act according to your faith. So tonight, we want to trigger something in you that will cause your faith to bubble up and let God work in your life. Because if God ain't got permission, He can't come in. He don't force Himself on nobody. That's the problem. God don't force Himself. He's not. And unless you open, then He's the only way you can come in. So we hope we can trigger that faith tonight that will cause God to come into your life and let the transformation begin. So without any further ado, I want to say thanks to all my sponsors here in the program. Sterling Product, thank you very much for being a part of this program. Summer Car Trading Limited with the Tropical Rhythm, all the non-alcoholic brand, such as the Mini Mart and all these different things that Summer Car sells that is non-alcoholic. I want to say thanks to them. Sterling Product with the Igloo ice cream and the margarine butter that is produced right here in Guyana. Thank you very much. Dens Trading for all the unwanted batteries. You have custody gospel etc. for your gospel needs. All right. Thank you very much, guys. So we can get right into the program tonight. We know next Friday, Bishop Joel will be having the 6th session of the Gospel Explosion there at his church, Freedom Life. So we encourage you to come on out and be a part of the action. I'll be there, and a whole host of others will be there to celebrate. We had a grand time. We want to say thanks to all those of you who came out on Friday. Hosanna 2018 was lit, as you young people would say. This was off the shizzle manickle, shokomanako. Yeah. All right. We had a grand time, man. For those of you who were there, you know it was explosive. And the footage you will see right here on the program, I will share. As we get the liberty to let you see what went on for those of you who couldn't made it, but you really missed out if you didn't. No enough of you collect tickets and y'all ain't come. You know what I mean? You should have given somebody. You know what people want to take it, buddy. Anyways, that's the past though. But don't miss it next year. It's going to be bigger and it's going to be better. So on behalf of the Hosanna 2018 team, I would like to say thank you very much for your support. It was awesome. We had a pack house and all the items were superb. Was explosive. People received, people were blessed. People asking, when is the next one? But they got to wait till next year. All right? And we have Bishop Bob will be having his big anniversary on it's a series, I think the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, right? At Royal Ministry there in Fremont Street, right? So make it a date and be a part of that. I'll be there also. Saiku will be there, to be a blessing to you, Anil Aziz, and a whole host of others. So the Bible says celebrate with those that celebrate, and weep with those that weep. So we are in a celebratory mood, and we are celebrating our brothers and our sisters in the body of Christ. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting out of the way, so when I hand over this microphone, it's for you to be blessed. So I hope you get your pen and your notepad ready, and I will ask my brother, His Excellency Apostle Alex Shalom. He's here in the studio with me. I'm going to ask him to do the honors of introducing our special guest from tonight, all the way from Ghana. Apostle Alex, welcome to the program, and good night to you, sir.
Good night. Thank you, His Excellency Kester Dean. Well, your name has become a household name.
Thank you.
Nice to be here in Channel 2. It's a blessing all the time to be here and to share with you. It's a great honor for me that in life, it's many times before you take a path, somebody might have already taken that path. And I have a very good mentor that has been an example for me as a young man growing up. I saw him as an example and I follow. Even today, I never knew that we could be sitting on the same show.
Wow.
You know, because as at the time they were preaching, we were still struggling to write our CXE, you know, which will be in Ghana, we'll call WASEC, West Africa Examination, just to get out of the secondary school. But they were preaching all along from the university and their life, and God is raising them in Africa. He's a former chairman for Ghana Prison. You know, he served on the board for many years, and now presently he is the lead pastor for Cedar Mountain Chapel Assembly of God in Ghana. You know, it's a privilege for me to have him to come to be a blessing all the way from Thursday, and we were there on Friday at Hosanna, and today Sunday. It was amazing.
Oh,
and so we want to absorb so much before he leaves the country.
Yeah.
And so I have a great honor today to introduce to you Reverend Dr. Stephen Wingham, all the way from Ghana to Guyana with love.
Welcome, 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 Reverend.
Thank you,
to this beautiful nation of ours,
Thank
Guyana.
you, my host, Apostle Alex Salom. Yeah. I love Guyana. I've been here for the past 5 days. It's a beautiful country, and I see a lot of commonality between Ghana and Guyana. Yeah. I was amazed the way we relate, the way some of your structures are, and I must commend you, Mr. Dean. You've done a great job. I love your emceeing. In Ghana, indeed, you will pass as one of our best and fantastic MCs.
Okay,
keep up the good work. And thank you for having me on Safe TV to share my story.
You're most welcome. This morning, I must say, the message on prayer, it really impacted me.
Wow.
Because of where I am,
that's right.
wear many hats.
That's right.
Sometimes things will get to you based on what people say. I mean, God is taking you to new heights.
That's right.
And with new heights comes different challenges.
That's right.
Sometimes, I will be honest, I'm not prepared to deal with some of the things that come at me.
Yeah.
But as human,
that's right.
you will react to certain things when it is said,
that's right.
or when it is being acted out. And so your message today impacted me, and it answered many questions that I had.
Wow.
And so I know how to deal with certain things when I'm confronted with them now.
Wonderful.
So I wasn't in the house by mistake this morning. It was on purpose, and I want to say thank you for allowing God to use you the way He did this morning with the message on prayer.
I'm grateful for the commendation. Glory to God, and thanks to my host who was gracious to invite me to actually come. You're right. I mean, that is why in James chapter 5, last Thursday, that was the foundation text. James says something very important. He said, "Is anyone in trouble? Let him pray." So the antidote to problems, the first point of call when you are faced with such challenges is the place of prayer. Unfortunately, many use prayer as their spare tire. You know, when you have a car, you don't respect your spare tire until
you got a puncture.
Got a puncture. But prayer is not a spare tire. Prayer is the main tire. That should drive you to actually your final destination. So thank you for the encouragement.
You're most welcome. So well, thank you for coming on the program, and I'm really excited to hear more of you. Like Apostle said, you know, you want to leave short, but we want you to leave dry. You know, we're ringing you out here in Guyana, you know. We can't have such anointing and word and just allow it to go, you know. So we'd like to open up this forum for you to share with our Guyanese people far and wide the reaches. Viewership is real huge, and I don't want to be selfish and just suck in everything for myself, but I want you to let God use you through these cameras tonight to be a blessing to those that are looking at us.
Wonderful. As Apostle Salom said, my name is Stephen Wingham. I was born to the late Matthew Wingham, who is going to be with the Lord. My dad was a Christian for 50 years before he died. And then my mother is alive. Now, we were 4 children. I'm the firstborn of my parents. And unfortunately, I lost all my siblings, all of them when they were babies. The oldest was Samson, our lastborn, who died at age 1. And there is this thing that happened, which I want to share with your listeners, especially parents, to learn to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit. Our lastborn shouldn't have died. But then my mother, you know, Africans, I don't know about Guyana, but Africans, when you give birth, especially the women, they want their mother to be around, you know, to keep them company, to help them take care of the baby.
Okay.
We come from the northern part of Ghana. That is about 10-hour drive from the capital. So, and in those days, I mean, infrastructure wasn't developed like now. Transportation system was not effective like now. So my mother kept saying she wanted to go to the village. And my dad said, no, I don't feel the release in my spirit that you should go. And my mother kept pestering. So at a point in time, my father reluctantly decided that we should go. So by that, so my mom, myself, and my little brother, when we got to the transport where we picked the vehicle to our village, my brother started crying unnecessarily. He was crying. He was so attached to my father and stretching out his hand. Daddy, it's like Charlie is like, Daddy, I don't want to go. I want to be with you. And they interpreted that to mean one of those tantrums children throw, one of those things just because of something. We couldn't just figure it out. And then we went. And we spent 3 months in the village, unnecessarily too long. And then one afternoon, very healthy boy, you know, he had convulsion, and then he died.
Wow.
So I grew up alone in the house. It was difficult for my parents. You can imagine, my mother, it took her many years to forgive herself. And any attempt to have more children after that didn't work. But I commend my parents. They brought me up very well. My mother is a disciplinarian. Oh my goodness. She didn't say because of the only child, if you misbehave, she'll beat the hell out of you. Because she believes in the Bible, the scripture that says that foolishness is banished from the heart of the child by the rod of correction. So I was brought up with so much discipline. So I didn't really have the opportunity to misbehave, to get out of hand. But the Lord was with me. My parents were not rich. They were just average people. And we went through life until I grew up. Now, so I was a church boy. But then when I got to secondary school, what do you call it? You mentioned?
CXC.
CXC, that's right. Well, when I entered, I thought because my parents were Christians, I was a Christian. Then one day I heard God clearly. The Lord said, I don't have grandchildren.
Wow.
We only have children of God. So have you ever heard that? Because somebody said, I'm the grandchild of God. So when your grandfather is a Christian, he's a child of God. When you, the grandchild, also accept Christ as your Lord and personal Savior, you are a child of God.
Yeah.
That was when I began to rethink and realize that I needed to give my life to Jesus, which I did. That was the early 1980s. And then I got baptized, but it was up and down, you know, today as if you've risen, tomorrow as if you've backslided. And even that, I didn't really get out of hand. I always said that the seemingly promiscuous experience I had was in CSX. The second year, I was the Christian Fellowship executive member. Then my classmate sister came to the first year. And then, you know, peer pressure. I decided to write a love letter. And I don't know about Guyana, but those days we say, the brightness of this day has given me the pleasure to pen you these few words.
Yeah. I know this.
Then I proposed love to this girl. Less than 24 hours after Christian Fellowship meeting, the president invited me for a meeting. I entered and I saw all the executives at a round table. They said, sit in the middle. I was wondering, what is this? I sat there, the first question, who is this lady to you? And you know the first reaction, let's face it, when you are put under pressure, the first is to deny.
Yeah.
I said, I eventually swore, something between the two of us. She's just a friend. Then they pulled out the letter.
Wow.
I felt so ashamed. But you see, when God's hand is upon you, when God is with you, no matter how hard you try to be bad,
Yeah.
God will get you out of trouble. So that ended it, and I went on and on. Then after CSX, I went to the university, and that was after university. Before university. That was when I met Apostle Salom in another town in Ghana where I did my national service. By the grace of God, and I don't say this to spite anybody. My wife and I were married as virgins. God gave us the grace. So one would have thought that then life would have been easy. Then we married. It took us 14 years to have our first child.
Wow.
Can you imagine a pastor?
40 years.
Yeah. I pray for people. Look, I've prayed for people 16 years. They got children. There's an event. I'm a radio pastor in Accra. I am the resident radio pastor for CD 97.3 FM. If you want, we are also on the internet, www.citynewsroom.com. Every morning, Monday to Saturday, 4 to 6 a.m., I do a 2-hour Christian program. It's prayer, worship, preaching, and interactive segment.
Yeah.
So my name is a household name, actually, in Accra. So every first May, we have family consecration service, about 10,000 attend. I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about real figures.
Wow.
And people would, delayed childbirth happen. And then we did everything until 4 years ago, when the Lord graciously and mercifully gave us a testimony. So the Christian life is not that smooth. It's like the journey on a road. There are potholes.
Yeah.
There are times you climb those bumps. There are times you will descend. There are times, there'll be traffic, so there'll be delays.
Yeah.
There are times you have to use the side path. But what is important is to keep your eye on Jesus and to take your eyes away from your problems. I tell you, I'm glad I went through all I went through. It's made me better and stronger. My marriage is stronger. I have a testimony. Maybe if I got things easy from the beginning, I will not be here. Probably my life and ministry wouldn't go into where it is now. Yeah.
Wow. This is something else. And I'm sure persons out there, and I heard people who got married and 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, they haven't seen any fruit.
They should have fun.
You know?
They should have fun. Can I make a confession?
Yeah.
Since 4 years, and I now tend to appreciate the 14 years. Now my wife and I, the kids, I mean, if you have children, when the kids, you know how it is.
Yeah.
We're in Ohio for vacation, and I jokingly told the church, these kids wouldn't just let me have a good time with my wife.
Yeah.
These kids are waking up. You guys want to have fun with your wife, and now they are crossing you. Then I began to appreciate.
You talking about like just coming out now. My daughter is doing my wife here outside. So she said, "Come give me a kiss before you go." And my daughter, now when I go in for kiss, now she put her arm by her mouth and so she want to say, "Move here," and she go in the car and she said, "I'm like, man, the 2-year-old people, It's a wonderful feeling.
That's right, you're right.
So this is testimony enough for you not to give up or question God. Why? God timing is always the right timing,
That's right.
And I'm really, your testimony. Apostle, I don't know what you would like to add to that.
Well, from my perspective, you are not a mistake. Many times I begin to look back to see that some of the things what have I done to deserve what God is doing in my life?
Oh, man.
And that's the question I asked. But when I look critically, I serve with a heart of humility.
Yeah.
And it's not very easy to serve your own brother.
That's
but
right.
I have been under my elder brother. He is a senior pastor, the founder of the church, and I serve him. I clean his shoe, I wash for him, and I never ever doing that with any bitterness in my heart. I wasn't getting the best I can get from a brother, but I was doing all the services. And finally, when God began to turn, just like he turned the captivity of Zion, I began to look back to say that, so all those things I was doing all those years was really a seed I was sowing.
Wow.
And while things are not well, we were doing those things with gladness. When I joined my brother in the northern part of Ghana, everything we're doing it with gladness. And our church was everything. We were praying in tongues. We don't know why we're praying in tongues. We were praying some prayer. We don't know why we were praying them.
Yeah.
But we were just obeying instruction.
Yeah.
Pick this here, you pick. Stand, you stand. Jump, you jump. Run, you run.
Ask no question.
We were just doing everything. Yeah. But finally, God seeing our heart that, listen, what you're doing, if you can do it, we've never seen God.
That's right.
It's people that we see. So if you cannot serve people, you can say you love God, you have never seen when you can love people around you. So, I would just want to say that in this life, we go through things to come out of things.
Oh, yes.
So somebody may be listening to us right now. We just want to encourage you to say you are not really a mistake. You are not a mistake at all. You just need to encourage yourself. You know, you are serving right now in certain areas, you think you are not getting the best, and maybe you think you are mistaken because you are serving. And let me tell you, the same service will send you up. David became a king just by serving. You know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego went to rise so high with Daniel because of service. So I believe that somebody also, you are also getting there because of service. So keep serving.
Mr. Dean, you know, his story just reminded me of another thing I went through. I, after university, was appointed a senior pastor of a church. I have 3 associate pastors under me, and then all the church board members were far older than me. I wasn't even married. Now, guess what? I was their senior pastor for about 2.5 years. Then I resigned to go and become the 4th associate pastor in the big church.
Wow.
Now, whereas people will normally become assistant pastors, associate pastors, and then they rise,
Yeah.
I went up
And then
and then came down. People thought I was mad. But I knew what God had spoken to me. That, listen, I'm sending you here for a divine purpose. And I did it with ease, with excitement. Now, everything happened so that I knew it was the hand of God. So can you imagine a few hours ago, you were chairing board meetings.
yeah.
You were calling the shots. You were signing the checks. You were blessing the marriage, serving communion. In less than 24 hours, you announce, yes, sir. What can I do? And you are sitting watching somebody else. You are not even the number 2. You are not even number 3. Not even that number 4. I did it with so much joy. And again, because I'd been senior pastor before, I knew how to relate to my new boss better. So, for example, when somebody wanted me to come and preach, I would say, no, I cannot tell my boss, you go and talk to him. So they will go talk to my boss. Then my boss will now come back. Steve, this person called me. I said, oh, well, it's in your hands.
Yeah.
So then after that, guess what? It was when I was 4th associate pastor. Then there was vacancy at the headquarters of the Assemblies of God, Ghana. The director of administration had just resigned.
Wow.
And they wanted to fill up. And we have about 3,000 churches in Ghana, about 1,500 pastors at the time, a very top position. So the Lord plucked me again from 4th associate pastor straight
to the top,
to headquarters to become a director of administration. Then whilst there, after 7 years, then the Lord led me to go and start Cedar Mountain Chapel Assemblies of God. We will turn 8 in October. And it's been phenomenal. Now, because I went up and came down and now gone up, I'm able to relate to my associate pastors well. Again, whilst I was serving as director of administration, then the president of Ghana appointed me a member of the Ghana Prison Service Council. In other jurisdictions, what we call the board of directors. And in Ghana, all the security agencies, the chairpersons are very important people. In fact, you report directly to the president. And our appointment is by the Constitution of Ghana. So I serve as member. And in Ghana, we had about 15,000 prisoners. We had about 44 prisons, installations, and about 5,000 prison officers. So that's a huge institution.
Responsibility.
After 4 years, then I thought I'd finished my work. I always try to keep modest expectation. Then one day I received a call from the president, our former president, President John Dramani Mahama. He said, Pastor Wengam, I want to see you in my office. And if the president of the country
called you, you better go.
I thought there was a problem. I went. He said, Pastor Wengam, I want to appoint you as the chairman of the Ghana Prison Service Council. I was shocked. So you see what service did?
Yes.
When I humbled myself, came down from senior pastor to 4th associate pastor, I was appointed the chairman of the Ghana Prison Service Council. And if I tell you what we did, during our tenure, we launched a 10-year strategic development plan, unprecedented in the history of Ghana. The American government was so impressed, they adopted the project, and that they sponsored that so that Ghana could become a model in Africa. Now, when we did our checks, we realized that for us to fulfill the aspirations of the 10-year strategic plan, we needed about 25 million Ghana. That's about, let's say, 100,000. about $50,000 every year. The government didn't have the money to give us because, you know, in the third world country, we see prison as a place to punish people and humiliate people.
Yeah.
It's the developed economies who understand. And I remember when we launched a program, this is what I said. The country is not safe until the last prisoner is reformed.
Wow.
Can I say it again?
Yeah.
The country, you are not safe. I'm not safe because there were many times, because we didn't have the resources to reform the prisoners, they go in and they came out bitter, unreformed, because we fed them with less than $1, 3 square meals a day. And then when they come, because the society stigmatized them, they don't even get good jobs. They realize that life in prison was better. So they go and commit a crime.
Just to go back in.
And in the process, they maybe end up killing you. So,
wow.
And can you imagine, out of the 44 prisons, only 3 of our prisons was purpose-built. So the prison, our prison was like hell. And I said, this cannot be. So we launched a 10-year plan. Then how do we raise the money? Ghanaians, we said we have 26 million Ghanaians. If every Ghanaian gave me 1 cedi, 1 cedi is like a cent. We can raise that money and transform our prisons. I went from radio station, we launched. Then this is how I began. I told my counsel, let's go and pay a courtesy call on the president. He gave his audience. Now, when I was going, we did a 10-minute documentary and then an album. And I showed it to the president. I said, this is the state of the prison. He was shocked. And his eyes were full of tears. Then the Lord just gave me an idea. I said, Your Excellency, would you want to make history? Be the first sitting president to visit the prisons. He said, wow, that'll be a good idea. I'll come with the Minister of Finance so that when I'm talking about increasing allocation for the prisons, he will appreciate me. And then I also paid a courtesy call on the Chief Justice, because the judges, most of the problem we have had to do with the courts. The courts are slow, dockets cannot be found, people are on remand for 16 years, 20 years. The same thing, the Chief Justice was touched. Then I said, His Excellency the President has agreed to come to visit the prisons. He said, I will join him. So that day was like the coming of Jesus in the prisons.
Wow.
The prisoners were excited. And because the President visited, that year, mid-year budget, they gave us 50 million Ghana cedis. And then the government gave us 88 vehicles. In the past, it is when some of the departments, their vehicles are old, then they pass it on. They'll give it 8 vehicles. But for the first time, because of the president's visit to the prison, gave us 88 vehicles.
Wow.
And then they began to build a remand prison because we didn't have the resources. The remandees and the convicted president are all in the same facility, which is wrong. It doesn't help in reformation.
Correct. Correct.
So we now began to build a remand so we could move, the remandees over there. Because I paid a courtesy call on the Chief Justice, the Chief Justice gave a directive. They assigned 2 months that they should dispense of most of the remandee cases. Then I said that was not enough. I went to the Speaker of Parliament with my team on a courtesy call. I did the same. He was shocked. And then they raised how much? They raised about $2,000. We launched a fund and asked people to text, donate, and then make donation. The parliamentarians gave us money. From there, I went to the Minister for Interior, the one who was supposed to oversee the security agencies. I did the same. I went to 23 embassies. I went to the American embassy. I went to all the embassies, and I said, hey, don't think you are safe, like Mordecai told Esther. I said, your investment in this country is not safe until the last prisoner is reformed. Then they got up. So America supported us. I remember the Philippines supported us, a couple of embassies, then the corporate bodies, the private bodies, some of the banks. This one give it $5,000, $2,000, and we started building the fund, and then we started renovating some of the prisons, started doing some expansion work. It caught up like wildfire. People began to empathize with the prisoners. I mean, and it was amazing, So the point I'm making is that when you are not a mistake.
Correct.
When my brothers died, I thought that I was a mistake. My parents thought they had lost it. When I came from being a senior pastor to fourth associate, people thought I was a mistake. I wasn't a mistake. All of them fit into the plan of God. Just about 1.5 years ago, our tenure ended, and then we handed over. But what we did for the prisons has been unprecedented, you know, and now other countries, the U.S. government brought us to the U.S., I remember 2 years ago. This state, I've forgotten the name of the state, I'll remember it before I go. We went there for training, people from different countries, and I was called upon to make a presentation to tell them the Ghana story. And I think Guyana can adopt this model to reform your prisons. And one thing, again, I did. I appointed prison ambassadors, goodwill ambassadors. So people like you, the media guys, those who were very, you know, made it in the media, who had name, and appointed them goodwill ambassadors. And I said, look, Kestadine, use your program, use your influence to educate Ghanaians about the need to change our attitude towards prisons. And let them know that if government commits resources to the prison, we're not throwing money away. Listen, it is enough to imprison somebody. Anything beyond that is dehumanizing. Look, do you know what it means for your freedom to be curtailed? So anything beyond that is wickedness. Wow. So I think that Guyana probably may want to look at our story, certainly, and adopt something like that. And I tell you, the prisoners were happy. Some of them today, they come out of prison and they look for me. Yeah. I was in Kenya preaching a church, and then the lady came and said, Pastor, I did drugs and I was locked up in prison. And you guys came, blah, 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 and I've come out. I'm now in Kenya. She was excited all over me, thanking God. That gave me joy.
Courage to go on.
And through that, we also advocated for the improvement in the condition for the prison officers, because they were living in the dilapidated buildings. And then there were 3 aspects of what we call the prison reforms. We call it Project Efiase. Efiase is the local word that means prison. The first was fundraising, as I mentioned. Then the second was what we call public-private partnership. Wow. Now, prison had lands. People were encroaching on it. So we contacted some private investors. We said, look, we have lands in prime areas. Let's do barter trade. We will give you our land, and you go and look for another land and build prison facility, and let's exchange, let's swap. Did you get it? Yeah. And that was a perfect arrangement. Then the third aspect of the public-private partnership, of course, was to sensitize Ghanaians and to change their attitude and mindset about prisons, and to know that those in prison are not second-class human beings. And I told Ghanaians, look at in Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, whom I'm told you we also respect here, was an ex-convict, was in prison. Joseph in the Bible.
That's
the Apostle Paul.
But they were not even, they were innocent. Like, so if you think everybody in prison, they are
guilty of something, no.
Wrong. Actually, many times the way people react when they have to do like, hey, the prisoner asking for this, asking for, you get bread, you asking for butter. You understand?
You're supposed to get nothing.
Yeah, human being.
They say because they're feeding you, that's why you go in there. You know, but it's not everybody in prison that is guilty. There are many people that they've not even, just because, you know, the thing is that, let's say you go and meet somebody dying with knife in the stomach. So the fact is that I came and see you with holding the knife with the dying person. But you may not be the one
who plunged the fatal wound.
Even if he's guilty, he's a human being. According to the UN Charter, they are entitled to dignity of life. Some of them, most of them have sincerely regretted their action. And therefore, why should you further punish them? You understand? Look, do you know that when, I don't know about Guyana laws, in Ghana, if I walk out of the studio and my car knocks somebody and the person dies, so that we go on remand.
Right away. No bail. No bail.
No bail. Right away. So you see, you need to realize that you don't need to be even a criminal, as he rightly said. All of us. And again, for us Christians, I say this. Unlike the Muslims who go to Mecca, Jesus said that your attitude towards a prisoner can determine whether you go to heaven or not. I was a prisoner.
You clothe me, you feed me, you give me water to drink.
So you see why I took that position like a mission assignment. And look, I traveled the length and breadth of the country. My church gave donations. Look, the prisons band didn't have instruments. My church donated about $2,000 to them. Several things we did. And do you know my allowance? How much they gave me as chairman of the Priests Council? About $100 a month. People thought that.
But the position is big money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing. And even that, they used to pay us 8 months in arrears.
Yeah.
The government subvention wasn't coming. But we did it. Almost all the money they gave me, we gave it even back to them.
Yeah.
But we did it with joy. So you are not a mistake. If you're a prisoner listening to me, if you're an ex-convict, listen, you said that is a label. You can turn it into a positive label. Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison. He wasn't a mistake. Today, the history he has made. Nobody, tell me, in this century, who is greater than Nelson Mandela? Even American presidents who are dead and gone, who is, remember, a revere like Nelson Mandela? So you are not a mistake.
Word.
All things are working out together for your good. Don't look down upon yourself. Don't despise yourself. Listen, God has, look, in my church, our theme for 2019 is favor. And I did some series. And my favorite stories, I did one on Rahab. I did one on Mephibosheth. I did one on Joseph. Oh, Rahab, she's my girlfriend. This was a prostitute, an outcast, social misfit. She plowed a trade that is the Bible says every sin is outside the body except the sin of sexual immorality. But then she saved the 2 spies. And let me tell you why you're not a mistake. And be careful when you judge people. But she was smart. So it's possible that she was in that trade because of circumstances of life. Because she was intelligent. He said, I have saved you. What are you going to give me when God give you this country? Will a dumb person be able to reason this way? Then they entered into a covenant. Okay, when we come, tie this red thing, scarlet, on your door. And then she was saved. Guess what? Go to Matthew chapter 1. Today, Rahab is the great grandmother of Jesus.
Wow.
You are not a mistake.
Wow.
Joseph in the Bible, what did he do? In a foreign land. I don't think the constitution of Guyana will allow a foreigner to become president. But God's favor makes all things possible. That a slave, an ex-convict, became the most powerful person. Look, Pharaoh said that the only thing I'll concern myself with is with the throne. Joseph controlled the economy, did everything. And then I spoke about Mephibosheth, my friend. He was a baby. They were escaping with him. He fell and broke his leg. And then his father's arch enemy became the king, David. David had made promises to Jonathan, and in Ghana we say that prosperous living makes people forget. He had now forgotten all the nice things he promised Jonathan. Until one day God appears and says, hey, remember. So he could call and say, hey, I've sinned. Is there anybody left in the house of Saul? So Mephibosheth was in Lodibar. I'm sure when they told him, he said, hey, I'm in trouble. My grandfather has got in trouble for me. Now David is sending for me. They will kill me. I'm sure David has remembered all the things that my grandfather did to him.
Maybe it's time to pay.
Time to pay back. So when he got there, and then David said, Mephibosheth, I'm giving back to you all the confiscated assets of your grandfather. From today, you eat at my table. He felt and said, I'm a dead dog. Listen to me, you are not a mistake.
Not a mistake.
Mephibosheth's situation, you know how they call it, fiscal disadvantage, turned out to become an advantage until he died. He got what I have a series I call it royal favor. Maybe the next time I come we'll talk about royal favor. Mephibosheth enjoyed royal favor, and then Ziba and his sons work for him. In Ghana we say monkey they work, babu they chop. So you cannot be a mistake. And that's why I love this show. If you're listening to us, you are not a mistake.
You know, at a point in time in my life, I thought I was a mistake too. You know, my father didn't, even though he was educated, at a point in time, based on polygamy, I wasn't accepted as a son. Early.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't accepted early because of my color. He's fair, so he believed that the son must
So
be fair.
the person that is fair get more.
Yeah, you know, he's fair, so I have to, you know, the ladies are fair, why the boy is black.
So maybe your mother went somewhere.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You know, but you know, discovering Jesus has changed a lot of things in my life. I'm the best of my father today.
Wow.
You know, I just came from Ghana, visited him. He's 83 right now.
That's right.
And you know, we have a very good relationship for some time. You know, we came back together, and I never want the past to rule my future. So I never dwell there. I never talk about it. And never. And I just accept my father. He accepted me, and we never ever. I'm just sharing this side because of what we are really talking about.
Yes.
But you know, God can turn things around.
Oh, yes.
You know, God turn. I love, that's why I love Proverbs chapter 10, verse 1. He said, a wise son make a glad father. But you know, a foolish one, it bring grief to his mother. You know, sometimes when we become good, our father, hey, this is my son. But when you are stupid, he say, well, I don't know where your mother really from.
And I'm sure he feels my son.
And it happened in many homes too.
That's right.
So you feel like, oh, if my father didn't accept me because I'm behaving certain way, I'm a mistake. But I'm here to tell you, I've gone through that. But today, I can tell you that even if a goat died in my house in Ghana, they called to tell me, oh, do you remember that goat he died? Because God picked me from somewhere to a place I have to know every details of things that are happening in the house. And you are also coming up there, and you will never, everything you're going through now is an experience. So that you can also share your story in future.
Yeah, you heard it, yeah. And I think that the story of the prison is timely for Guyana, based on all the things that we are going through, all the different changes. So I think the government get a hand on this information. It will certainly help for the reforming of our prison system here in Guyana. So
and then training. One of the things we invested in was training. We got some very top, you know, very top training institutions to come and retrain our prison officers. Look, when I was in America, I was shocked. The kind of treatment they take the prisoners through. So by the time you are out, you are completely reformed. We're joking in the third world. Prison officers are still using 1942 prison strategies to try to reform prisoners. That's why we have jailbreaks and all that. You understand? But when we were promoting the prisons, prison reforms, I told the prison officers, if I go and talk about you, the citizens will not listen to us. They are more concerned about the prisoners. So allow me to front the welfare of the prisoners. And at the background, we're negotiating. Look, before I left office as chairman, we were able to get the government to add the prison staff to what we called oh, I've forgotten the name, but their salary was remarkably improved. So at least hope came back to them. You understand? And then they began to, because their work was risky. Because
dealing with dangerous criminals.
One time, a prisoner killed a prison officer. They don't even have insurance. So we began to appeal to the insurance companies that their contribution toward the prison reforms was to come and provide insurance cover for the prison officers. And this is what I said, which moved their hearts. I said, listen carefully. Sometimes the prison officers contract diseases from the prisoners. Because in Ghana, I don't know about here, a prison cell meant for 10 can be accommodating 50 people. So diseases spread. So the prison officer spends 8 hours with these prisoners in the horrible condition. So they contract the diseases. They come and pass it on to their wives and children. My daughter and the prison officer's daughter are also in the same class.
Wow.
Oh my.
So you see.
So then Ghanaians were like, oh. So indeed, I am not safe until the last prisoner
is reformed.
And is safe. Then they began to buy into it. The momentum was so high, and I tell you, it was great. It was great. Our former president, I really commend him, and our new government, they are also doing their best. I will encourage them to continue to run, with that vision, because that is the only way out. And I keep telling the politicians. And when our former president was in the prison, he told them, I said, look, nobody is closer to the prison than politicians. Because when there's a new government, they will say corruption, they will say this. I don't know about Ghana, but Ghana, if you joke, you go to prison as a politician. So I said, if you politicians, you don't help me to reform the prison,
you're going to be in there.
You're going to be there. Then when they go there, then they start screaming. When they go there, then they start screaming. I said, why are you complaining to? When you had power,
you didn't change it.
You didn't change the place. Now you are there and you are screaming and blaming somebody. So whatever you find is when you have power to turn things around,
turn it around,
do it, and then God will richly bless you.
Wow, you can't have it any way better. Listen, I want us. I know you guys are itching. You want to call. You know, you heard so much tonight, and so many that was said could apply to our country in terms of our reforming of our prison. We know a lot of government officials and members of parliament also listen to this program, and I'm sure it wouldn't leave. Now with me, it wouldn't leave here. You know, you guys will hear it constantly, ears, right? Because you know how I am in terms of all these different things. Persons who might have brushes with the law, and you know, coming back from that and all these different things. So this is timely. This is timely. So let me ask the operator, can you put the number up on the screen? And you can feel free to call, make our guests feel welcome. And I see you calling the cell phone. No, not my cell phone. Call the number that's up there now.
218-1890.
All right. Yeah, so call the number that is up there now, and Reverend and apostles will be sure to entertain any of your questions if you have any. All right? Carl, good evening to you.
Good evening, Cassidy.
Yeah, you got to turn on your volume for us, please.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you turn on the phone?
Yeah, my brother. Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, Cassidy, good afternoon. Good night.
Good night. And the panel as well.
The panel.
Yeah.
Mr.
All right, don't kill yourself with the name. We go.
Wengam, Stephen Wengam.
Mr. Chayo. Hello, Mr. Solomon.
Yes.
Well, I must say, if you're listening to the man upon 93, where you want with the man? The man don't pick up the farmers by. And the government knows how the farmers they can survive. The main basket man, the man don't pick up his God and then the farmers. And the man don't pick up the farmers. I will tell you, since the Kala got to pick up the farmers, where they put rich upon the man. And then you're glad to see you with your panel yesterday and your next pastor from Ghana. But the two man and listening on the radio, he's singing very good and so on, you know. Well, I must say, you've got to go in certain things to catch yourself. And then we must pass through certain storm. God put it through certain things that we could get closer and closer to. You know, and whatever we go through, we must give thanks and praise because God put me through things that say, well, listen, you know, some of us got to get shake up. To wake up, to realize that, listen, that is a God. You know, and I think especially men especially, because remember the devil don't like to know when the men even in the tackle, they fight the men bad more than the women. So remember now, the more men we get for close and close to God, we don't match the devil because the devil is a busy man, he's really busy, you know. And we need a lot of more praise in this place. Especially men. We need a lot of more praise, you know what I mean? And Pastor Shayom.
Yes.
Shalom, no, Shayom. Sorry, man. Right, I really appreciate you a lot. I like how you send out your message and so on.
Thank you,
you know, and I like how you got the Keskadi. Yeah, I got the chalky up. Can't move left, right, and center.
You know what
I mean? I know about the Keskadi is Mr. Khan, you know what I mean?
I know it's Mr. Khan.
Yeah, man, well, thank God, because why you saying that I go through some storm in life, and thank God that I go through that, because if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't have got a good family life. I wouldn't have got a good life with you know, I got a good life with my family and everything because of the God, you know, and thank God that I get to know God nearly 2 years back, and I get close to God, and I see the glory, the happiness of God, because I tell you, God is powerful. It is a God. nobody can tell me it's not a God. Let me tell you. When we had our earthquake the other day, is man rock this place? It's God.
We had a tremor.
And it's no rocket. It's God. Man could shake them like that.
No.
So we know yesterday it is a God, my brother. We got the men. We men got to hold on and get more closer to God. But we need God in our heart, our life, our future. Whatever we get up on the morning, God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this strength. Give me the strength physically, spiritually, financially.
All right. Mr. Khan. All right, Mr. Khan. Don't kill this whole 50 minutes, man.
All right, go.
Blessings, we got you.
Let's play the video tomorrow or we'll go for the radio.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Don't forget to give the farmers their respect.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right, Farmer Khan. Oh yeah, that's one of our regular viewers of the program. I always have a word of encouragement. We have another caller, line caller. Good night.
This is my brother Cassidy, and my brother Salo.
Yeah.
This is your brother that visited the church.
Yeah, okay.
You know, when I was listening to your program, you say, in God's ministry, in my spirit, that we are all prisoners until God strips us from everything in our lives. Then we understand the principle of his ways and everything. So my brother, we come, as you go back to Ghana, I trust that you will continue to do what you're doing.
Okay, thank you.
Truly a man of God. Because I listened to you in church, it was this Thursday night. It was a wonderful experience for myself and my wife.
Wonderful.
And we are working towards it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because we all, you say you're not a mistake. But what our God was saying to us that we need to be stripped in our inner being.
Thank you.
Everything, there's a plant being stripped of everything. That's the way God wants us to be.
Thank you.
So we are still prisoners until God finishes us.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, my brother.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, the men are coming through tonight. I'm not here for women, you know. But the testimony also to, you know, to Reverend and, you know, how he's been impacting lives through what God has placed within him, you know. So this is very encouraging. So we want to thank you guys very much for sharing and letting us know exactly how you feel and how this has been helpful to you. All right. So, Reverend, I know you're leaving, but I want to give you an opportunity to, you know, closing remarks. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Christine, and then my host, Apostle Salom, and Safe TV for this platform. I love Guyana. I want to avail myself, if in your current pursuit of prison reforms, if there's anything we can do to support the government, to push reforms agenda. This university in the U.S., Saginaw Valley State University, are trying to even contract me to come and give lectures.
Okay.
You know, along that line. Yeah. But I see this as a mission field, and then also we believe in training. One of these days, probably next year or so, we'll be coming to knock at the doors of Guyana, come with special, powerful training for church leaders, corporate leaders, so that we can support what God is doing here. So I love Guyana. I'm going back as your ambassador to Ghana.
Amen.
Already on Facebook, everybody's asking me, talking about Guyana. I'm going to talk about Guyana. I'm going to tell Ghanaians and West Africans that there's something good here. They should come on a tour, on a visit, and see the wonderful things. And I pray that God will open the door for Cassidy yourself one day to come to Ghana. And as we say in Ghana, come and let's spoil you. So God bless Guyana. God bless your president, your opposition leader. God bless Reveal Word Christian Center for giving me a royal treat. God bless Safe TV. God bless the best MC and TV presenter in the world. That's my endorsement. And
Thank you, sir.
And the best TV station in the Caribbean, Safety TV.
Yeah, man,
Well, I will tell you, time is far gone already, but I want to tell you, you are not a mistake. Keep the faith and keep loving. And we'll be talking. I'm still here. I'm not going to Ghana.
He's a Guyanese.
I'm a Guyanese,
Okay. So thank you very much, guys. Thanks very much, man of God, for sharing with us.
Yeah, the name again is Stephen Wengham.
Okay.
Yeah, Stephen Wengham.
Yeah. Right. So thanks on behalf of all my sponsors. We really would like to say thank you for tuning in and giving us your ear. And we apply the words that was, spoken to us, put it into action, and look out for the results that will bear fruit that all of us can benefit from. So on that note, I'm saying thank you until we meet again next week, God willing. Stay good and have a blessed work week. Bye-bye.
And I shine my light bright, I like it. And I shine my light bright, I like it. And I shine my light bright, I like it. I like it.
We bring light to the darkest spaces, hope to the hopeless places, smiles to the saddest faces. Light it up. Give a hand to the poor and needy, never greedy, we give freely. We bring strength to the ones that are weak, we light it up.
I like it.
Yeah. We light it up, we light it up, light it up, we light it. We light it up, we light it up, light it up, we light it up, 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 up. We light it up, 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 up.
Light on the world burn like a bonfire. We light it up like the Messiah. Anybody say them don't see it is a liar. We got the fire, we got the fire. We bring the vibes and we light it up. Where I'm go, we are right it up. We are the beacon, we bright it up. We got the fire, we got the fire.
We light it up, we light it up, light it up, we light it. We light it up, we light it up, light it up, we light it up, 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 up. We light it up, 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 up. We got the truth in a we light it up, make the whole world see. We will be who we be, we light it up.
I
So we la 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 light it. Public light, we light no private. La 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 light it. I so we like it. I so we lit. We la 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 light it. We never hide it, we ignite it. We la 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 light it. Now for sing, no tweet, no hype it. I will life this.
You're on music, who's like an ocean, Jerusalem.
We light it, we light it up, we light it up, light it up, we light it up, 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 up. We light it up, 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 up. We bring light to the darkest places, hope to the hopeless faces, put a smile on the saddest faces. Light it up. Give a hand to the poor and needy, never greedy, we give freely. Give strength to the one that's weak, we light it up, yeah. We light it up, we light it up, light it up, we light it. We light it up, we light it up, light it up, we light it up, 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 up. We light it up, 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 up. We light it up, 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 up. We light it up, 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 up. We light it up.
And I shine my light bright, I like it. And I shine my light bright,
That's how we light
and I
it.
shine my light bright,
You know I like it.
I like it. I like it. And I shine my light bright, I like it. And I shine my light bright, I like it. And I shine my light bright, I like it. I like it. I like it.
You have always trusted Kester D's Gospel Music Center for the best in gospel CDs and DVDs. He has also been known as the best person to duplicate your CDs and DVDs. Download your favorite gospel music on memory cards, flash drives, smartphones, and other devices. Well, now, Kester D has moved to a bigger and better location at Lot 206 Eastern half of Charlotte Street between Alexander and Camp Streets. For more information, call Kester D on 600-3991 today. Kester D's Gospel Music Center, the home of gospel music and